If you're watching, you also know that Greg from MAP
Yay,
Training,
Greg!
not Matt, but Greg from MAP Training is in the studio. You'll be at Brinapalooza this Saturday, too.
I will be there.
Outstanding. We got this email from Sharon.
Hey, Sharon.
It says, "Hi, Greg. I just wanted to reach out and say thank you so much for your program and to RAD, because without them, I wouldn't have found you. I had just got my blood work up and done, and yikes, I knew it was time for a change. I contacted you directly, and you were so quick to get me on the right track. I started out slow because, 1, I had no workout gear, and because, 2, ouch, my legs haven't stopped hurting since my first leg day 2 weeks ago. Your program is perfect for me, even if I don't use the gym right around the corner. No need. I'm able to complete each of my workouts from my home with the purchase of resistance bands and some hand weights.
Nice.
Just after a couple of weeks, I have so much more strength in my legs and my knees and becoming more flexible, which I thought would never be possible due to past injuries. Now we have purchased ski passes this year.
Oh my gosh.
And I will be learning to ski, which is something I've wanted to do forever, but never thought I could because of my weak knees. Thank you for changing my life."
Wow.
That's so amazing. If anyone follows us on Instagram, we've hit a point in Matt being around so long now that those are the types of reviews we're getting. Like, hey, you've changed my life. I've done these things I've never done before. And I've been posting them to our Instagram because it literally keeps me from burning the building down. Like every Monday, I'm like, all right, one more good one. Here we go.
You're saving lives.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah.
You have to love that. I mean, I know we never get tired of getting those emails from people that say they've listened forever or that you have to just love this because you're actually making a difference. We're not really.
But it's her. I mean, I gave her a path, right? But she did all the work, and she's just getting started, and she feels that good. It's only going to get better, and 100%. That's literally why I do this.
Yeah, I love how humble you are, but yes, she did the work, of course, absolutely, but your path made it more so for her than anything before in the past.
Yeah,
right?
that map, if you will.
Yeah, exactly.
The map. It's trainwithmap.com. See, it's a map. All right, so I like to throw little studies at you when you come in here. And she says what she's doing. She's doing things at home with. What did she say? She's got
resistance bands and hand weights.
And that's it.
Yep.
Okay, so scientists at the University of Sydney last week said 2 minutes of exercise a day can extend your life. They spent years tracking 70,000 people, old people like me, 40 to 70.
Oh, damn, we are in that age.
Using activity trackers like Fitbits, people who got just 15 minutes of vigorous exercise a week, that's 2 minutes a day, were 20% less likely to die over the next 5 years. Is a little bit better than nothing? Will you subscribe to this?
Man, you're really putting the bar low. I always say that something is better than nothing. If you can't make your whole workout, going for a walk makes a difference. Getting down to 2 minutes, that's like walking to the front door and back. I mean, yes.
Vigorous. They said vigorous. So you're running
to the front door and back.
2 minutes.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I have seen people, and there are age cutoffs, right? You look at some 50-year-olds that are young and athletic, and then you look at some that are, for lack of a better term, decrepit because they haven't done those basic things. So, yes, I'll buy into that. The littlest things can go a long way.
And also, we talk a lot about it on the show. I don't know if we talked to you about it. So much of this is genetics, right? I mean, there's a big element of you're born gifted or with a big old hurdle to climb.
Yes, but I would just say that just determines the difficulty of the path. It doesn't limit you in any sense of the word other than your own thoughts, right? So if you have a lot of things working against you, yeah, you're going to have to work a little bit harder than maybe someone like me, but there's no reason you still can't get where you want to go.
Right, people get pissed off at guys like you and me because
100%.
we have whatever it is, metabolism, genetics, whatever, we don't have to do as much. Because what about the theory that like some people say, look, just have sex every day. And if you have vigorous sex for 10 minutes a day, you're getting in all your cardio. I mean, you go to this Australian study, they said 2 minutes a day. I mean, what about that?
That's pretty advanced. 10 minutes. And let's be honest, the hormone production there, you'll never be sad. That's a good way to live long, too.
Lucky Mrs. Greg.
I think we don't realize, I think, how amazing the body is. I remember when I was a runner and there was this bigger dude. I mean, I don't know, he maybe 3 bills or more, but he would outrun us. His mobility was amazing. Right? And we're like, how is that possible? And it's just like, maybe he wasn't concentrating on his food, but he absolutely was getting mobile. And he could move in ways we couldn't. We're like, what the hell? We couldn't compute it. And it's like, as you get older and this or that, I'm with you. It's kind of like, if I don't feel a certain way, it's because of me, not because of my age. We always want to place it on the number, and it's like, no. You haven't been moving. You haven't been doing this or that. It has nothing to do with being 52.
Jason wrote in, says, thanks, Greg, for what you've done for my wife, Val, and I. We love going in at 4:30 a.m. Ugh.
Well, hey, they're my kind of people. That's my time.
Oh my gosh.
Jessica says, my husband and I want to start losing weight together and wanted to know if Greg would be able to set up a meal plan for both of us that will not require me, capitalized, to have to make multiple meals since I am the only cook in my house. Also, would the workouts be able to be similar so we can help each other?
Oh.
Absolutely. We work with so many couples and families that we overlap as much as you want to. Some couples that just means eating the same dinner and then splitting meals throughout the day. And then it sounds like for her, it's going to be the exact same thing, just in the right portions. But yes, it's something we can do.
So Kyle has made Smasher world famous.
Yes.
Because he loves this stuff. But
amazing.
now we've gone beyond the watermelon smasher. We have the lemonade smasher.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
Did you bring some, by the way?
You know, I actually thought about this when I was sitting waiting. I walked by the kitchen and I was like, why is there no Smasher in here?
Mm-hmm.
It's in my backpack.
I don't want to say the show would be better if there was Smasher on the kitchen counter,
But
but
it'd be better.
Well, you didn't look hard enough because in my cabinet I have the lemonade smasher.
Oh,
See,
well, you're not
there it
gonna
is.
anymore.
It's outstanding.
Well, see, I try to stay out of your cabinet. I thought Greg would bring some for my office.
I'll have to stock some up at Brian and Palooza. But yes, the fresh lemonade flavor has been a huge hit. And I called it fresh lemonade very specifically because it is like fresh. It's not that chemically taste you get from some others.
Yeah.
Oh, but it does taste like the sweet country time old-fashioned lemonade. It really does. It's fantastic. And I am running low on my Smasher, so I am going to need to get another one.
So
Just
are
heads
you
up.
are you moving towards you prefer lemonade now over the original?
I like them both, honestly. I mean, I do like the watermelon just because it has a little bit of a sour zing, but the lemonade one goes down really smooth. It's fantastic.
You can mix them.
Oh,
Whoa, lemon watermelon.
Party.
Trying to get wild.
Yeah.
I'd like to try it in an iced tea and make myself an Arnold Palmer.
Yes.
Can I add some Tahoe Blue vodka to that?
Oh, my
Is that
God.
still?
You'd be silly if you didn't.
Yeah, thank you. So you will have your products at Brinapalooza.
All of them, fully stocked.
All the Maptrition products.
You got it.
Will be, all of them, because we get which flavor the protein, the cinnamon roll, all of them.
Listen, the only one that's not around is the chocolate Maxwork.
Oh, man,
but I do
that
have
was
the
so
chocolate
good.
determined, so I got a little bit for everybody.
All right, so all of the Maptrition products will be at Brinapalooza on Saturday.
What's the difference between the Max Work and the Determined?
So the Maxwork is like your catch-all. It works as a meal or snack replacement. You can use it post-workout. It's what people use most often. The Determined is specifically designed to absorb in your body very, very quickly. So typically you use it as a post-workout recovery.
Now you have multiple different things that you offer. We've referenced the meal plans, we've referenced the exercise programs, and you have people all over the world that literally follow you. But at Brinapalooza, I understand you're going to be doing some special in-person specials. Is this for any program?
This is for any program. So I'm still assembling them, but it was enough that my wife looked at me and thought I was a little crazy. So I am going to be offering deals.
Is that really different though than most days?
It was like a harder look than most days. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like one of those I don't know if I
yes.
know you.
Yes, I know that look well.
I figured you would.
Yeah.
So I am going to put some things together specifically for Brinapalooza because it is such a cool, unique event. I know we're going to have a ton of people there, and I really want to help, and this is the opportunity to do it. So we're going to make it happen.
There'll be meal plan specials. There'll be workout plan specials. There'll be both specials.
Online specials,
All of
in-person specials, in-gym specials, all kinds of specials.
All the details about Brinapalooza are at radradio.com. Phone number is 888-989-9811. You want to talk to Greg from trainwithmap.com. We got this note from Gail.
Hey, Gail.
Says, Greg has been creating my meal plans and my workouts. I have lost 23 pounds.
Yay.
But most importantly, my overall health and mental well-being have become so much better. I'm convinced that there is nothing Greg can't help with.
Aw.
I've thrown him some hurdles, and he just gives you what you need to jump over them. I recently went on an all-inclusive vacation. With his help, I was able to be comfortable wearing cute bathing suits. And even better, I felt healthy and strong enough to participate in physically strenuous activities with no hesitation.
That's the
I
big
can't
key.
praise Greg's knowledge and hard work enough. Thank you so much.
Just keep them coming. I love these emails. I mean, my head's getting a little bigger, but it's totally valuable because just the mental health aspect of this is so cool. Like the confidence building and the ability to do what you want to do when you want to do it.
Like she was able to participate on vacation.
Right.
Instead of just sitting on the sidelines and then later going, oh man,
I mean,
I wasn't able to do that.
She was able to live.
Yes,
Exactly.
exactly.
That's extraordinary.
Yes.
All right, here's another one. Researchers had overweight patients eat the exact same meals on 2 schedules, one with meals earlier in the day and the other with meals about 4 hours later in the day. Late eating more than doubled the likelihood of being hungry. When study participants ate later in the day, they had lower levels of the hormone leptin. You're a nutritionist, you know what all this means, right?
Sure.
Which is present when we feel full, said the researchers. The bottom line is research suggests eating early and within a 10-hour window is healthier. You buy that?
I need more information on the study. I understand the difference. Leptin makes you feel full. Ghrelin is the other hormone that makes you feel hungry. You have this constant balance going on in your body. But you also have to look at what the participants had going on during the day. If you have a busy morning, you're not paying attention to being hungry, that's one thing. But if you're eating later in the day and then bored in the evening, that's another. So I'm sure there was not a staple. Everyone's doing the same thing every day. I need more information to really give a good opinion.
How do you feel about like people who eat and go right to bed? Is there a for you, is there a process of you shouldn't eat this long before you go to bed? And is there also a window of how long you shouldn't eat? Because like a lot of people sleep 5, 10, 12 hours and you don't eat it all.
Yeah, those 12-hour people, I'm jealous.
Yeah, I wish.
So there are perfect worlds, right? And I always say this to everyone that we work with is if you can eat a protein every 3 to 4 hours, that's ideal. If you can eat 6, 7, 8 times a day, that's ideal. But it's not necessary to be healthy. The only science that I've read that I can support saying don't eat too late in the evening before going to bed, it's because it affects your sleep. And it can affect how deep of sleep you get, but that is totally person to person and how your digestive tract works.
You don't worry about it in terms of health?
Not at all. All I worry about is how much you consume in 24 hours on a consistent basis.
Do you eat right away when you wake up?
3:30 a.m.
First thing.
What
do you eat?
My favorite thing right now is I put one of my protein powders into Kodiak waffles, and then I cover it with peanut butter and sugar-free syrup because I'm a fat kid at heart.
Oh, yeah.
That sounds amazing.
It's amazing.
Donald wrote in and says, I wake up, I work out, and then I eat my MAP meal plan breakfast. If I started using the determined post-workout supplement, would I still eat breakfast?
Yes, but you would probably space it out a little bit further. Typically, when I'm having a post-workout immediately in the morning, I'll just push my breakfast back during the day. And then if we have to adjust what kind of foods you're having there to make it work for your day, we can do that too.
Everything works for people differently, but do you advise that? Do you like people who get up and work out on an empty stomach? I mean, I would puke. I don't know what I would puke, but I could not do that.
No, so if someone can stomach it, and I usually tell people to practice, I tell them to consume some sort of a carbohydrate before they work out, just because it's going to increase your performance. So regardless of your metabolism, it's going to give you more energy to lift and work harder when you're actually doing it, and then you can recover later.
Kevin wants to know, where are we at with pre-made meals?
In the kitchen and begging my wife. No, it's a process that we are still working on. I have dabbled with it. I am going to run a test run with a few clients that I work with in-house in Roseville, and then if we can develop it from there, I am on it. But trust me, I'm on it.
Do you think you'll do a protein bar?
Yeah.
I really want you to do it because if your shakes, I call them, are so good, your protein bar would have to be out of this world.
So
That would be
we mentioned it
amazing.
a little bit, but I'm about 4 test runs in on the protein bar.
And that's the challenge, right? Is that you need it to be at the quality level that Dawn's alluding to, because
100%.
until you release it, or until you get there, you're not going to release it, and that's been the challenge.
100%. I need someone to go, this is so outstanding that I will go so far out of my way to get it. And yeah, Dawn's hyped it up enough. So
All in the hopper, as we say. So we were having fun last week with vegans. I don't know if we've ever talked to you about vegans, but
Do
there's
you work with them? No, just kidding.
I do. I don't cut anybody out.
There's a growing body of evidence, according to a study released last week, that suggests many vegans are damaging themselves. There's a bunch of studies that suggest vegans are more likely to face broken bones and anemia. Where are you? So let's back up. What are your qualifications here? You're not just some dumbass from the gym.
Right. So my bachelor's degree is in nutrition, and then I have several sports nutrition certifications under that as well.
All right. So where are you on vegans? And then the step below would be vegetarians. But where do you come down on this?
I am fully against it. I will help them. I will support anybody, but I think an extremist in any form is always a bad thing, because too much of a good thing is a bad thing. So whether you're eating too many carbohydrates as a vegan, missing out on a protein as a vegan, or just missing out on different vitamins and minerals, your body as an omnivore, you are supposed to eat a little bit of everything.
So it's not even, you don't even need studies. For you, it's a common sense step back and you're everything in moderation type thing.
Yeah, 100%. I think even from experience as well, vegans will tell you, oh, the strongest man in the world for a short time was a vegan. And then he got hurt. What do you think happened?
And we should point out, too, when you're doing meal plans for everybody, because we talk about this, we forget that we have you on every time, but there's always new people listening. You don't go to someone and say, you cannot absolutely not eat the things that you love. You work around what people like. Is that the right way to phrase that?
Yeah, absolutely. If it's something that what I would consider as a reasonable food like pizza, yeah, it's a high calorie, high fat food, but we can work it in or give you a healthy alternative. I will do everything I can to make that happen. There are some bad habits that we try to work people out of, but that's work them out of, not take away.
I always get nervous when I see a story on, this push for just plant-based food. Plant-based
Yeah.
foods.
Both.
Yeah.
And I think it was the UN. I don't know exactly. I didn't, absorb all of it, but they were showing like what they would recommend, the amount of meat we should eat a day. And it was the smallest amount. And it just like, you're on the nutrition end of it. For me, I want to preserve ranching and farming. And I also know when the animals are raised properly, there's no other food that's going to give us all those nutrients that you will find in that meat. And it's like, if you want to choose to not live that way, that's one thing. But to take it away from us, I think about like how malnourished we would even be as a society. And like no one takes that into account. It's just crazy. And then all the processing that goes on with the plant-based garbage. So I'm just like, oh, it freaks me out.
Yeah, and unfortunately, it's deemed as healthy in the media, so it's really hard for people to determine right from wrong. But if you actually flip over, and I call it the stats, but if you look at the nutrition facts on some of these plant-based products, they're made of chemicals and garbage that your body can't even recognize. So just because it's not meat-based or it doesn't, have something else in it, does not make it healthy.
Which I found hilarious. Well, this part wasn't hilarious. It was talking about this other story of sugar and chips, all the packaged stuff, how addicting it is for the brain. And they were, and I'm like, oh, there might be some truth to that. It probably is. I don't know. I'm not, nutritionist.
goes
Yeah.
deep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I'm like, that makes sense to what they were saying. And then I was like, but isn't this interesting? They're making sure we know this and they want to ban it while at the same time pushing plant foods that are chemicals and processed. I'm like, what a wackadoodle world.
Yeah, everyone's heard the term sheeple, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, people turn into sheep and they follow each other. Well, that's how I feel when I give into some kind of a sugar craving, because that's all it is. They're pushing my reward pathway in my brain chemically to make me feel good about something that's bad for me, to make me weaker and dumber. I do not participate.
So we're entering a phase where a lot of people either lose control of themselves, they don't even think about it, they give up on their diets. Holidays, right? I mean, we're a week from Thursday's Thanksgiving, then you get into all the holiday parties, then you got Christmas, then you got New Year's. How do you advise? I mean, you want people to have fun, don't you? Come on, man.
Yeah, I absolutely do. And like I said, I'm human. I like tequila and vodka, and I like peanut butter cups just as much as the next guy, but I control it, and I do it within reason. And this was pointed out to me specifically because I'm a big proponent of just start now and figure it out as you go. I feel like that about business. I feel like that about health. So over the next couple of months, there's realistically 5 days that you actually are going to celebrate? Christmas or some version of a Christmas, right? Hanukkah, whatever. New Year's, Thanksgiving. Do you really want to throw away the next 2 to 3 months for 5 parties? No, why not start now and then enjoy those 5 days? You'll do far less damage over that time.
So
yeah, makes sense.
it does, but most people can't do it. So
Can't or won't?
Won't.
There we go.
They won't do it.
Sure.
So when they wake up on January 2nd and they're fat and they've gained 10 pounds and they're feeling regret, is it too late? I mean, because a lot of people take that attitude. They're like, I screwed up. Who cares?
It's never too late. It doesn't matter on age. It doesn't matter on time frame. It doesn't matter if you drank yourself into oblivion over the holidays. There is
Good. Excellent. That's my plan.
Got you.
Yeah.
There's a time and a place to get started. And what I'd recommend when people wake up like that, because it's going to happen, is that you just need to start with one thing at a time. Don't throw yourself to the wolves, switch to chicken, broccoli, and rice, and starve yourself. It's not going to work. It didn't work the last however many years. Start fresh. Start with one thing at a time. Take it slow.
Do you have any advice for something? So like you give them the 5 days or whatever, but like on Thanksgiving, for example, they're gorging themselves and they're feeling regretful, but they won't stop eating. Do you have any advice for that person? Because those people are out there like, oh my God, I'm so full. I'm eating. I'm getting fat. I know I'm unhealthy, etc.
If you want to address it that day, there's an actual list of things called conscious eating habits that we learn in nutrition. Things like cutting 3 bites at a time, putting your fork down between bites, chewing things 20 times, creating a plate and walking away from a table. There's a laundry list of things that you can do that day to try to avoid that. If you're going to dive in, I wouldn't use it as a punishment. I'd use it as a reward. Hey, I got to eat all these foods. My reward is I get to go for a 45-minute walk tonight. Something like that can help balance that out.
I love how you promote balance because all I know is like of all the years of all my girlfriends that they've just stayed fit, but they imbibe on those 5 days, but their consistency throughout the year, the 5 days don't bother them. So I think it's those of us that like go crazy because we're thinking we'll start the next day, right? So that thought process makes you just, oh, it's a holiday, where you're like, and you look at people that remain fit and everyone thinks they never have fun, right? But it's like, no, they're imbibing on those days. But the rest of the time, they're, watching themselves.
We're talking with Greg from trainwithmap.com. We got this email from Brandon. Says, I'm amazed at how fast the shipping is. You can order the Maptrition products right at radradio.com. You go to the Stupid Store.
Superstore.
And click on the Maptrition drop-down. Says, I placed my order in the morning. It showed up 2 days later. Fast shipping is the best way to keep me as a customer. Also, can't believe how helpful Greg is with my painful emails. With the Maptrition products, I'm feeling better and stronger.
Oh, yay.
Glad we could help.
What is the 12-week transformation program?
Ooh, so this is what I really wanted to talk about because it's meant to help people get through the holidays, exactly what we were just talking about. Now, so many people hold off on signing up with MAP because it is a very involved coaching program. We help you every step of the way. We put a little pressure on you to do what you're supposed to do. Some people are not ready for that, but rather than waste away these next 2 months for 5 parties, we created the 12-week transformation and the 12-week athletic program. These programs are pre-built workouts. So every workout is 3 phases. We filled up the entire week. So when you sign up, all those workouts will be built in, a few messages from me, and we are going to create a custom 7-day menu for you to help support those workouts.
How do they sign up?
All they have to do is go to trainwithmap.com/radradio, and it's the very first thing you see. There's more.
But okay, so it's the holidays. Can I start in January?
You can with everyone else, and then you can quit in February like everyone else. Do you want to be a sheeple, or do you want to change your life?
We're having you on literally I think our first day back after holiday break, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or that week.
That week.
We're having you on
boy.
because
wow.
There's going to be so much of that.
Do you always, like, as long as you've been doing this, is it always a mad rush in the first of the year? And then you're like wondering, are you able to call it, these folks I think will be around in March, these no shot?
Unfortunately, yes. And I try to talk the people down. It's the ones who say, hey, I want to change my life today. I'm ready to flip everything upside down and work out every day. I'm like, please don't. Please don't. Take it down a notch. Let's ease into this. It's for the best.
Oh, that's so smart.
Kelly wrote in and said, preach, Greg. As a fellow nutrition graduate, I love hearing everything Greg is saying. I love that there is someone like you out there to help people make sense of nutrition, to balance their lives and make sense of what is healthy for them. Keep doing what you're doing. We got this email from a Brian.
Oh, hi, Brian.
I have a question for Greg. What is his philosophy on cheat days? I've read multiple articles about how good cheat days are and how bad they are. Are cheat days like how my cousin, where he pigs out on football food and beer on Sundays, or more of a day where you aren't as diligent with your macro tracking?
It has nothing to do with either one of those. So when you have a cheat day, it's about replenishing calories in a balanced fashion, not about gorging bad foods. A cheat day is meant to trick your metabolism into thinking there's more calories coming when you're constantly living on a deficit. So when you want to lose a lot of weight quickly, you cut a lot of calories, but to help your body maintain more lean muscle mass, you can incorporate cheat meals, which are typically high carb days of quality carbohydrates.
Like what's a quality cheat meal that somebody could go, ooh, yes.
Sushi? Oh. Sushi would be a great one.
Lots of cheat?
Yeah, absolutely. Lots of white rice. It's a high glycemic. It's going to spike your blood sugar, which is great if you're trying to maintain muscle. Not great if you're sitting around on your butt.
See, you said cheat meal. My girlfriends and I would make it a day.
Or a week.
Right.
Be the whole day, and then the next day you just feel so terrible.
Joshua says, how do you feel about the keto diet?
I think it's okay to use intermittently if you are having trouble with plateaus, but I still do not think it's a lifestyle to live by.
Greg says, I was wondering how Greg feels about all meat-based plant substitutes. I like to consume them post-workout for muscle gain.
meat-based plant Wait, say that again?
Yeah, I was wondering how Greg feels about all meat-based plant substitutes.
Is that like the plant burger? Is that what they mean?
Is that what
Like
he-
a soy
I think that's what he's
burger?
trying to say.
Maybe he's flipped it. Maybe it's
Yeah.
plant-based meat
That's what I'm-
substitutes.
Yeah, that's what I'm
It's like
guessing.
a piece of broccoli that tastes like a burger. No.
Yeah.
Right, a meat burger.
If you are eating them in moderation, it's okay. The problem is most of them are very high sodium and soy based, and high soy, especially in males, is not ideal for hormone balance.
And no, you don't. No, you don't like it. You're hating every moment of it. Your insides are hating every moment of it, but you're telling yourself you're liking it. Stop it.
Cindy says, I'm on a budget, but we want to start on a good path. What product do you have that would be good for beginners? There's an open-ended question.
Yeah, so from a maptrition standpoint, I would start with a multivitamin because your body really struggles to change if you don't have all the vitamins and minerals to make it function properly. And then when it comes to programming, the best place to start is the basic online training program. It's a single day menu to keep things very, very simple. It's coaching from us and all of your workouts designed around whatever equipment you have or don't.
No news to you. Money is a big issue with people. Inflation's out of control. What is it? One out of, I forget what the survey we had last week, 10 people aren't celebrating Thanksgiving because they can't afford it.
It's heartbreaking.
So, I mean, this is a big deal. So for people that are like, I want to get healthy. I really do, Greg. I'm not just saying I want to get healthy. I want to get healthy. That's where you're going to send them to start. What are you starting with the meal plan? Like, look, I got barely any money. What are you going to do for me?
Yeah, honestly, if that's where you are at right now, I'd recommend one of the 12-week programs that we just designed. We literally pulled a lot of the coaching aspect out of it because that's obviously where we shine, but it's also what adds the cost to the programming. That's a great place to start. It'll get you through the holidays. You can reuse the program later on, and it will get the ball rolling in the right direction for an affordable cost.
Details at trainwithmap.com. Yes?
/Rad Radio.
/Rad Radio. Thank you. You're always so nice to throw that in. Phone number is 888-989-9811. We're talking with Greg from Map Training. Hello there, Francisco.
Hi, I was calling because I had a question regarding his program. I just got recently diagnosed with celiac, an autoimmune disorder, and neuroendocrine tumor, and I wanted to see if he had anything regarding that.
So I'm not familiar with the specific tumor that you mentioned, but I'd assume it has something to do with the thyroid along the way because that's typically what gets associated with celiacs. But yes, it's something that we work around all the time, and it's usually just I hate to say restrictive, but a little bit more restrictive diet just based on what your body needs when that's going on.
Phone number is 888-989-9811. You can email us, rad@radradio.com. This is from Nurse Erin.
Hi, Nurse Erin. Thanks for being a nurse.
I work 12-hour nights 3 times a week, but I have no set schedule, which means I have no set sleeping or eating schedule. Do you recommend for someone like me keeping my eating schedule the same, no matter if it's a night where I will be up working all night, which I find I'm not hungry during the day, working it or not, only at night. Right now, I mainly snack when I'm hungry. I'm not a meal eater.
So yes, I'd recommend getting on something more consistent only for the fact that it's going to make your life easier and it's going to start training your hunger cues. Our hunger cues can lie to us. If you're bored, you eat a lot. And if you're busy, you forget to eat. So getting that little bit more consistent, your body's going to enjoy it and you'll probably ramp up that fat burning.
Hunger is extraordinarily psychological, isn't it?
Absolutely.
There's their truth to I eat because I'm bored. I eat
Yeah.
because I'm lonely. I eat because whatever. This is all part of it.
100%. So a lot of it actually comes from the stomach and then goes to the brain through the vagus nerve too. It's not the other way around, but it's way too influenceable from outside forces. That's why I say get on a schedule.
We got this from Phil.
Hey, Phil.
Says, I sent you an email back in September thanking Greg for all of his help in my weight loss journey. I am now down 68 pounds in under 4
Good
months.
for you.
Yeah, I
That's
feel
amazing.
better and better every day. All I've been doing is following his great meals exactly and doing the workouts at home that he has specifically set up for me and the minimal equipment that I have. I have by no means been perfect, but it clearly shows that if you make the leap and put trust in his system, you can have life-changing results as I have. For anyone who has been hesitating on making a change in your life, I strongly suggest you start with a month with Greg and see what it can do for your life. I'm hooked. I'll be a lifelong customer. I can't wait to see where this journey will take me.
So amazing. I actually talked to him this morning too, and I thought it was like 68 pounds down now.
Yeah.
His wife's involved. They're both doing great. It's so cool.
That's a good endorsement.
Kelly says, my partner needs to trim down. We work in construction. We eat our meals together. Is it possible to create meal plans that won't make me feel like I'm starving and we can still eat together?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, in construction, you probably have pretty hands-on moving and shaking style job, you're probably under eating by a landslide and don't even realize it. So when I try to overfeed you in your eyes, just brace. It's going to work.
Oh, we should point out, we have to do that every time, that a lot of people, when they start with you with the meal plans, you actually make them consume more calories.
Yeah.
And they're like, what are you trying to make me fat? That was the whole point I came to you.
They panic. They think I'm lying. I have to like send a photo of myself. Like, look, I promise it works.
Brad says, oh, this is an interesting question. How do I stop using Coffee Mate creamer in my coffee every time I have coffee? Well, first, okay, are you anti-Coffee Mate?
Me personally, I drink my coffee black, but I'm not anti. By all means, we always write it in. It's one of the questions that we ask, like, what do you put in your coffee? Because it's one of those things that adds up really, really quickly at 60, 70, 80, 100 calories every 2 tablespoons. And you have people pouring a quarter cup, half cup in at a time.
Would you prefer Coffee Mate over cream or over milk, or do you have a preference?
I don't really have a preference. When someone asks for cream, I tell them to use half and half or a sugar-free Coffee Mate option. If you really want to get ahead of the game, you can try mixing in half of a protein powder, and that will sweeten it up and make it more beneficial.
What about a little Bailey's Irish cream? Is that
Jesus, Rob.
After a certain time of day,
Swear.
maybe?
Somebody's
Always with
got to
the liquor.
represent the alcoholics. Sheesh.
Yeah, letter writer. If you put it in a fleet, you don't got to worry about the taste at all.
Man, that is no lie with like what you put in your coffee. When when I put it in half and half, I'm thinking, oh, that's not a lot. And then I'll actually go to measure what 2 tablespoons is, and I'm like, oh my, way off. Like way off if you're not measuring.
It can be way off. That happens with food a lot too, which is why we have the tracking capabilities on the app. But if you are looking for some coffee options, again, head over to the Train with Map Instagram. We have a Starbucks section with all these different orders that you can create to make it taste really good.
Wow.
And under 100 calories for just about all of them.
Jen just wrote in and says, I wanted to know if you have any advice for when you do start to fall back into bad eating and not exercising habits. I feel that is my biggest problem lately, and I wondered if you had any tips.
Yeah, I mean, we all fall off. I've done it, especially as
You?
100%. Absolutely. Yeah. And if you do it for more than a week, it gets hard to get back in the groove because, man, it hurts. People don't lie. It hurts.
A week.
Yeah. Me in a week.
Fell
That's
off. For you, that's a lot. Yeah.
But what I recommend is the same thing I keep saying is start with one thing. Don't try to start where you left off. Start with a shorter workout, start with a walk, or just 1 or 2 meals that are a little bit more controlled. And as you start to feel better, you'll be more encouraged to do the rest of those things.
Speaking of which, like Kyle is definitely represents that because one day, was it this week or last? What day is it?
Today's Monday.
Oh, it's Monday. Okay,
God, it's
then
only
it was
Monday?
Then it was last week. I walk into the kitchen and were you doing burpees? Because I
I was
caught you
doing
on the way.
push-ups, yeah.
Okay, but it kind of looked like the burpee move too. And I was like, oh my gosh, Kyle. He's like, yeah, I didn't get into the gym this morning. I was like, bravo. That's amazing because he feels better.
I still went in the afternoon, but yeah, I mean, for the show to get the blood pumping and everything, it's way better to get a workout out in first thing.
And he's in
I
his
loved
clothes, right? And it's like,
So I got to bring some
see?
smasher by, drop some dumbbells in the kitchen. I got it.
Oh,
I got
yeah.
it.
What
But,
is
sometimes you'll say, "Oh, I can't do that movement. I'm in my regular clothes." Well, he was, right? And he was still doing it. So it was inspiring.
what's the transformation challenge?
The transformation challenge. So this is something that I've been working on in the background for a long time too. And because people have so many reasons not to get into a routine right now or not to stay consistent with the routine, I decided to give them a reason to stay consistent. And that is a all-inclusive 2-night stay in Kings Beach, Tahoe for winning the transformation challenge.
Whoa.
Yes,
Nice.
there are some rules to it, but it's really simple. If you go to the exact same page, trainwithmap.com/radradio, right below the 12-week programs, you can download a PDF, and that PDF is going to have a day 1 PDF that you can print out or hold on your phone to take your day 1 photo, along with a list of rules as to how to win. But if you stay consistent between now and the end of January, you can sign up anytime, and you're going to do a transformation challenge. You can win a 2-night stay.
Nice.
Yeah, is this just for like fitness transformation? Because if not, I got something that'll really blow your socks off.
So you said the winner of the challenge. How is that exactly going to work? Because I know some people are going to be heavier than others, and like heavier people might lose weight a lot more.
You're not
than someone
eligible,
small.
by the way, Kyle.
I'm not saying me,
Right.
but I'm saying like say somebody comes in 300 pounds, and then another person comes in at 200 pounds, and the
Can I
300
guess?
pound person can lose a lot more weight compared to the person at 200 pounds.
Fair.
I remember watching Biggest Loser, and they would do percentages.
I like it. So what about me? If I want to gain muscle, can I win?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's a question, right? Well, I can't win, right? I'm going to go no matter
yeah.
what. But
See, I like that. No one ever talks about the gaining because we hate you people that have to gain.
Which is
Yeah.
what Brandon's been doing.
and he's crushing it. by the
Brandon
way.
finally had to go out and buy a new wardrobe
Yeah.
because you got him so swole.
I'll donate some T-shirts.
No, 100%. Most people don't realize how heavy implants are. It hurts your back.
Stephanie says, I'm trying to have a baby. I want to keep working out. I'm 180 pounds. I have heard many, many things about working out being a bad factor for not having a baby.
Working out being a bad factor?
That's what she wrote.
That's not true at all.
I just read what they write, man.
There's there is no downside to working out, and it's actually encouraged. The only limiting factor around being pregnant comes like way late stages, and it usually just says don't get your heart rate over like 120 or 140. I don't remember off the top of my head, but even that is a little frowned upon now. You can do pretty much whatever you want.
There was a gal we worked with, Rob and I, in Reno, and now mind you, she worked out prior to getting pregnant, but from behind you would just see this woman doing lunges, and then she turned to the side. You're like, oh my god, there's a baby belly there, and it was like amazing to see.
Emily says, can you do a meal plan for people who have had bariatric surgery?
Yes, and we do them all the time. That is one of those paths where it's going to be a little bit tougher for you now because you have some things working against you, but it's something that we've had a lot of success with.
Charles says, I'm 275 pounds. I have 3 slipped discs in my back that are pushing on the nerves, which makes it really hard to work out. Walking is a misery.
Oh.
I'm trying to lose weight. Is there anything your plan can do for someone who literally can't work out?
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to start with some really basic stretches to try to alleviate some of that pain, but more importantly, it's better that we start with your menu and get some of that weight off just through your nutrition so that working out is a little bit more comfortable.
Poor thing. That's
Juliet
awful.
says, I just wanted to say that Greg is amazing and fantastic. I recently stopped with MAP, but only because I literally don't have the brain space for it right now. Thanks, law school. However, I am taking everything I learned. The biggest thing, Greg helped me relearn my hunger cues. I have somewhat disordered eating and often am so busy would tell myself that I would eat later and later and later. Eventually, I convinced my brain that I wasn't hungry and I genuinely wouldn't get any hunger cues. About a month ago, I realized I heard my stomach growl. I cannot tell you how long it had been since I heard that sound, thanks to Greg. I wasn't even close to consistent, but all his programs were awesome and thoughtful. Even if I injured my bad knee, he was always right there to provide substitutions or modifications. I cannot sing Greg's praises enough for him. Don't worry, Greg. I'll be back, and I'll be better than ever when I can be.
So I'm going to take all of this and try to fit my head out the door. But what I will say is that all of these people who are writing in with these huge success stories, they utilize the coaching. They reached out to me when there was a problem. They let me know if a meal was good or bad, and they had the feedback when we needed it to keep everything up to date. So a lot of that work was on them. Again, we just led the path.
How many times do you hear that, though, when someone's describing someone like you, the word thoughtful? I love that that it was thoughtful. Your plans were thoughtful. You don't hear that word. I love that.
All the Maptrition products are available. You can go to radradio.com, you go to the Stupid Store,
Superstore.
click on the Maptrition link. But Greg will be at Brinapalooza with us this Saturday. You personally will be there, correct?
Yeah, of course. And I'm going to be there in my new MAP training shirt, too.
It's 11
new
a.m.
shirt.
Yeah. You guys did you get shirts?
I didn't
Get
get
a new
one.
shirt.
I'm going to bring
Brandon
some
needs
gift
one.
packs.
Yeah, okay.
He needs an XL.
Yeah, Brandon needs the next L these days. He'll be at Brinapalooza. It's 11 a.m. Saturday. All the details are at radradio.com. There's the 12-week transformation program. The 12-week. What's the difference between the transformation program and the athletic program?
It's the style of workout. So if you want to do the transformation program, it's a little bit more introductory. If you are a beginner at working out or just getting started, the athletic program is pretty advanced. That's something that I would sign up for if I was on the outside looking in.
Aren't you great?
Well, yeah. Are you just learning this?
Oh, look at me! I'm a professional athlete. By the way, didn't you go play paintball recently?
I thought you retired.
I did, but they keep sucking me back in, man. It's just so much fun.
How'd you do?
I played great. The team played terrible.
Oh, yeah.
I don't really want to talk about it.
Yeah, no.
But the trip to Paris and Italy was amazing.
Oh, that's right.
That's
oh my
that's what we all do. Each of us individually after the show. Well, I did great. It was the team that sucked. All right, we will see you Saturday, my man. Thank you
Sounds
so much.
great.
That
Thank
is
you.
Greg from Map Training at trainwithmap.com.